Okay, good afternoon. We have today with us Lis Sze, who is a photographer. So her last name is pronounced Z, but it's written SZE, correct?
Correct.
Z. Okay, so it could have been just the letter Z.
Exactly. It's pronounced like the letter Z.
Okay. So Lis Sze is a photographer. So there are many types of photographer, right, Lis Sze?
Right.
What do you have a specialty?
I'm very broad.
Oh, okay.
I like to say I've shot everything from, or worked with everyone from the family dog to Snoop Dogg. I shoot people, places, things, products,
Okay.
with the exclusion of weddings.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just about
It's too
everything.
is weddings too much work?
Weddings, I think, are set for people who have a particular infrastructure and that's all they do. I've shot weddings before for friends and,
Yeah.
shot things of interest, like a destination. A friend flew me to Hawaii to shoot their wedding, and that was fun to do. But for people who want the, particular collateral for weddings, the wedding photographers are set up for that.
Okay. Yeah.
I like doing engagement photos.
Okay. Okay. Well, sounds good. Because I was looking at some gigs on and wedding photographer, they have to do the pose of the dress and they have to do the pose of the two people in love, and that's a specialty.
Yeah, well, it's very specific.
It's very specific. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I can definitely shoot a wedding, but my infrastructure is not set up for weddings.
Okay. So your favorite is?
I like everything I do because everything I do has a different rhythm.
Okay.
I'd say I started off by default working for, I went to the Academy of Art,
Okay.
and I started working for one of the teachers there, assisting her. And by default, she was an interior photographer.
Oh.
So for me, it wasn't my dream to be an interior photographer, but it was like boot camp for me. So I learned to really light a situation, and I think that's the defining factor between professional and amateur nowadays.
So you know how to do it professionally, interior design.
Right, interior lighting. So from there, I built upon things. So I really like interacting with people. I mean, I'm so curious. So I love interacting with people. So I like taking portraits.
Okay.
So because I have an affinity towards keen lighting and I like portraits, I like putting them together, and I can do commercial jobs inside that would be lifestyle.
Okay.
And now, in the past years, I've been doing consumer product lifestyle. So because I can light well, say you need a water bottle photographed,
Yeah.
a water bottle, and how's that water bottle used in the household? I can make the water bottle look good in addition to the space and the person. So I can't say that there's one thing I like to do. I
Okay.
mean,
But do you bring your own lighting? You just mentioned
I do.
lighting.
yeah.
Oh, you bring it. Is
Yeah.
it huge?
Well, I have a kit that I have my basics that I have, and if I
Because
need more,
here-
I rent.
Okay, because here
Yeah.
we have lighting, but I never take it with me because it's so heavy.
It is heavy.
It's huge, and I say, why would anybody take lighting with them?
I call myself a Sherpa, but you can also hire the labor to help you with that. In addition to, if it's a larger production, you can hire an offsite crew to do that.
Oh, they would
You
carry it for you.
Well, they would bring their lighting equipment and light it for you to your specifications. So it really depends on the size or scale of job and budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but you have a mini lighting, and then you have the huge lighting.
Yeah, I've been doing this for almost 20 years.
Oh.
So I know, what I need. And I have what I need to do 9 out of 10 jobs. And it's a rare moment that I really have to
Call on someone.
call on someone else for extras or more services. But, I have the capability to produce that. So
Oh, the setup. If you bring your own lighting, the setup takes how long?
on a basic job, say next week I'm photographing a retreat for executives that are coming in from all over the globe, and they've rented an Airbnb, and they need a little backdrop to do some professional headshots. That'll take me 20 minutes. And then they need to be photographed outside as well for environmental portraits, and that's little to no setup for me because I'm just using available resources.
You mean
Right, so I'll set up a
natural-
little studio, and then I'll do a little natural thing,
and then natural lighting.
right. So it's or fill lighting, which is very minimal setup.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so, but generally about 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh, so if it is outdoors, you don't need lighting, do you?
Well, I always like filling. I don't, I, even if we want to make it look as natural as possible, I'm still adding some bit of augmented lighting in it, even if it's just a tiny bit.
Oh,
Yeah, because I feel that there's always something that needs a little tiny enhancement. It's a rare moment that I don't use something.
okay.
Hmm.
Just to make sure
I
the.
like a glimmer in the eyes,
Oh, I see.
especially if it's a person. Um, Maybe if I'm doing wine bottles outside, I may not use lighting. And
Okay.
sometimes if I do it, it would be very
On the
minimal.
glass, yeah.
Yeah, minimal far away just to get a little pop in there. But yeah, I'd say 9 out of 10 times I am using some form of lighting.
Okay, so
Hmm.
would you say it's an easy job or would you say it's a tough job?
I would say it's a learned job, and I say that it's not an easy job because there's so many critical factors involved. It's a lot of problem solving, and oftentimes you're given very little information on what you're photographing or
Oh,
where,
oh,
and there's sometimes you don't even have something to preview to understand what you're facing. So you walk in and it's like it's a challenge, but it's fun for me. I love the challenge. Like
oh.
that's part of the fun in it for me.
Yeah, sometime also someone shows up in the studio and the light and they're a little bit bald and so I have to put a little
Exactly.
powder. So you do the same?
Oh, absolutely. I always bring powder with me. I mean, those are all learned things throughout the years that I think, someone who was younger wouldn't know. I mean, you don't always have a budget to have a hair and makeup person there, so I carry a kit with me all the time,
You
even
carry
if
it
it's
up
minimal.
minimal, yeah, just
Even if it's minimal.
so it doesn't shine on the
There's
picture.
always margin for error in that area. I mean, even if I'm photographing an interior, you have to troubleshoot reflections off of paintings on the wall, or say that there's something that you can't have later in that image because it's trademarked something on the wall. You have
Yeah.
to think about all of these issues ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. Some cameras you can add backlighting.
Right.
Uh, so I'm sure you have that feature on your camera in case there's not enough lighting in the room.
I don't use the
Backlighting.
pre-automated stuff. I'm pretty much a manual shooter.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah,
do
and I
have.
create what I need to create with what I have, the tools I have.
Okay.
Hmm.
So when you use your camera, you put it on automatic,
I put it on manual.
manual. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm outside doing portraits like of children,
Yeah.
I will put it on some kind of automated setting, but I'm also using a fill flash with a Gary Fong diffuser. I don't know if you know the Gary Fong diffusers. I
Uh,
just gave him a plug.
okay, that's nice of you. That's nice of you. So it's just something to make it nice.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one of the rare moments that I would use automatic settings, even when I'm doing events. I'm in dark lighting, and I'll set it on manual on a very specific setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen someone outside of Salesforce taking portraits, but she was not doing it with the tripod. So you can take very good portraits without a tripod
I
then.
rarely use a tripod unless
Oh,
I
you
have
don't
to.
either. Okay.
No, I mean, I think recently I used a tripod. I was shooting a conference
Okay.
from the back of the room with a
That
very
makes
long
sense.
lens,
Yeah, that makes
which
sense.
is exhausting on my arms, and it's
Yeah.
very specific. I only was working within like a 4 foot range,
Oh, okay, okay.
and it was very dark lighting. It was actually, there was film lighting happening, so it was, I had to have a high ISO.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
at that point, you decided to use your tripod,
Yeah.
and then they ask you several shots of the conference
You have the people
speaking.
speaking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and when I shoot interiors, I'm always shooting on a tripod or anything that's still life. Any product shots, like shoot wine bottles, technology devices, it's all tripod.
And you go wine bottles. You mean you go all the way to the Napa Valley, or you do it here?
Well, it really depends on the client. I really like going up to wine country to do the jobs there. So
Yeah.
sometimes if I'm doing marketing collateral for a winery, I'll do a lot of their advertising work in different areas of the winery or vineyards.
Yeah.
And then on the side, I'll set up a little mini studio and photograph their wine bottles. But I have a relationship with many of the wineries where they
Okay.
just ship them to me.
Do
which
you
is
know?
also a bonus too because I get the cases of wine.
Oh, okay. Do you know about 10 wineries got wiped out during the
I
fire?
know it's so sad. I keep checking the list.
You did?
I keep
Me
checking the
too.
list.
I
Yeah.
was looking for the French one, Claude Duval, but it's
Yeah.
not
Not
affected.
yet. Yeah.
No, he's far away in Napa.
Many, 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 many wineries. It's
Yeah.
sad.
So you check if one of the
Yeah.
one you know.
Of course, I would like to send messages to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully none of the people you know got affected.
Well, everyone. I'm certain that there's someone affected.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure they have to start if they're those who got affected the most, then they need to start from scratch again.
I know. It'll take 5 years, right?
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just read in the paper today that even though for the people who got saved, even though they have non-perishable food, they cannot eat it because it's contaminated. So
Oh,
everybody
jeez.
has to buy real food. I mean, a new food.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they were told not to eat even the non-perishables.
Wow.
So I don't know. Do you plan on driving there anytime soon?
No, no time soon. I know. I had the opportunity to drive up to Mendocino, and I just thought I can't drive up 101 right now. It's too sad.
Right now, the FEMA is looking uh, everywhere for survivors, and there's 460 people missing. So
Sad.
anyway, to go back to you, if you had to choose a photographer, what would you do? How would you start looking for a good one for yourself?
For myself,
Yeah, yes. If you had to choose one for yourself, what would be the key point where you say that's the one I want?
it would be someone who was just interested in knowing me.
Oh, okay.
If it was for a portrait,
Yeah.
someone who was curious and very down to earth and laid back. I mean, like how we're having a communication right now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so you wouldn't look
I would
necessarily.
look at their work as well
Okay,
to see if
yeah.
it was in alignment with what I was looking for. It really depends. If I wanted an image of myself for my my own marketing reasons, then it would have to go with my style, I'd say.
Yeah, because your website shows different types of photography.
Right.
So no matter what job the person wants, they're gonna find a sample there,
Right.
right?
Yeah, there's something for everyone there. It's a little bit of a generalist at this point, but it is also almost 20 years of working,
Yeah.
So I mean, after 20 years, I've touched
Can
a
I
lot
show
of
the
industries.
picture of Schultz? That
Sure.
All right, let me see if I can put it here.
Sure. Oh,
Oh, where is he? Okay. Let me get him and then we will show it.
yeah, I would go to the bottom
How can it disappear?
in the middle.
I thought he was already up, boss. I wouldn't have done that. Okay, here he is. All right. So now we're going to show him. So, here he is.
So we were talking about all the places I've been and all the people I've seen and the moments.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's the one that
Yeah.
that's a moment that you remember.
Well, I've seen a lot over the past years, from the days of assisting to my own career, and this was a moment where it was just an event. It was an event, but I felt so lucky to be in a room witnessing this moment.
Okay.
Where then, this is last year, so this is our former Secretary of Treasury, Jack Lew.
Oh, okay.
And he's just walked into the room, and I photographed this photo at the moment he was saying hello to George Shultz, who was our former Secretary of
Right.
Treasury and Defense. And I thought, look at his hand gesture. I just loved it. It was him kind of paying respect to
him.
To him, yeah, to his senior and to his achievements. And
I agree.
yeah, it's just one of the moments in time. I mean, there's so many moments I have as a photographer.
This is a good moment.
Yeah, and last week I had a great moment too. I was working with a Marin-based interior designer, Claire Michaels, and it was a small job photographing a renovated kitchen, and we had a great time working together. But the best part is sometimes the stories. The homeowners had owned the home. They built the home. So it's well over 100 years old. And I already thought, wow, this is amazing. This family's owned this through many generations.
Mm-hmm.
But what's even better was there was a little studio behind the house.
Yeah.
And I walked back there and looked in and I said, wow, this is really great. It would make a fantastic photo studio.
Okay.
Then the homeowner showed up and said, do you know who used to live here? And I said, well, no, Ruth Bernhardt. And if you don't know who Ruth is a famous photographer. She died about 2007. She is a local here in San Francisco. She was famous. She liked to consider herself a still life photographer, and she was famous for her nudes. She photographed her nudes like still lifes, and Ansel Adams considered her the best nude photographer of the time. And here I was, I found myself in her studio, another random Bay Area moment for me, standing in Ruth's studio. And I remember meeting her on several occasions when I was at the academy, and I just felt really lucky. Another moment where it was, you know, my job takes me to so many interesting places. Even a simple job like photographing a kitchen, you know, I learned some more history about our town.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So the words, I guess, as a photographer, gets around. If someone show a picture of himself to a friend, he say, "Oh, he say who took that picture?" He can say that's taken by Lis Sze. Yeah, that's how you get to be known.
Well, I think for me, I never really marketed. It was all word of mouth. My career was based on word of mouth. One person, one hand to another, you know. So I think that's how it's worked for me.
So when you said earlier that you studied at the academy, did you learn photography in color and black and white?
In the days of film. So I started in the days of film, and I felt very, very lucky. Of course, it was a huge expense at the time, and a great privilege to be able to go there.
Yeah.
And to afford to do that, which was a struggle.
So you used to have those big negatives?
Oh, yeah. I started in film. So we started in classic black and white film, and we had to process our own.
Yeah.
We had to process our own film. I'd sometimes do it in the closet at home and use my bathroom with all those terrible chemicals.
Yeah.
And then we would go to the dark room at school, and we would make prints for class and be critiqued that way. So in the beginning of my career, I was using medium format Hasselblad cameras, you know, the square camera there, the square format. And for interiors, we were using 4x5s with the big bellows. Oh. Yeah, and you know, you'd fix the perspective right there in the camera.
The school provided those, right?
Yeah, the school provided them. It was amazing. And you know, I feel really fortunate that I started off because there was just a level, you had to get things perfect. Or close, they're close to perfect, right? Because we were pulling Polaroids to check exposure. Oh. So when digital came around, it was, whew, wow. For me,
that was 10 years ago, at least?
Yeah, more than that, a little bit more than that. But
it was a relief.
It was a little bit of a stress at the beginning because at that point I was in my commercial career, so some people were still asking for film and some were not. Okay. And I had, in the middle of my career, had to relearn everything.
Oh, because now you edit on your computer.
It was all different, but I have to tell you that it felt really good to know that the image was there once digital came around, because I used to be a ball of nerves in my early career, wondering if I got that great exposure, because we used to have to do snip tests. Oh. We would take our film to the lab, and they would cut off a part of the roll and base it on the test there, and then you would have to look at the test to determine how you were going to run the rest of your film.
So it was more expensive to do a portrait in those days.
Oh, way more expensive. I think, geez, I charged for a child's portrait 3 times the amount that I do now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just because of the cost of, you know.
Oh, yeah, processing.
Film and processing.
Here.
Printing.
Yes. Here you make a mistake, you click delete.
Delete. Yeah.
And you want to edit, you go to iPhoto.
Right. Right. Yeah. I remember when Instagram came about, I didn't look at it for 1 year, all of their filters. Yeah. I remember back when, I'm not that old, but creating that filter effect through science and play, right? So these filters that you can put on for your, these filters on Instagram, we created on our own. we would take certain films, like a tungsten film, and we would cross-process it in color, regular color. So we would use tungsten negative film and cross-process it in regular color print chemistry. And then you'd come up with ways you exposed it to get a certain effect. And then I thought, oh, Instagram came out, and all of a sudden you pressed a button, and there it is, you know.
Oh, special effects is instant.
Right, so exactly. So the style that you had created is now instant. So I was a little
Same
grumpy.
as 3D. You can do a video in 3D.
Right.
By pushing a button.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do any work. The whole video would be 3D.
Right.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, well, now I've embraced it all, you know. There's some wonderful apps out there and wonderful effects, and if you want to play, you could still do the layered effect on things, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have done 3D?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Have you ever tried the photojournalism? No.
Well, I mean, I'd say something like this.
Like the one is
there's a little bit of journalism in there.
Did you publish it?
This was published, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. These are things that I was hired to do. So in this particular shoot that we were talking about with the former Secretary of Treasury, so I was there with the whole press mob.
Okay.
Right.
I thought it was for your own fun.
No. I don't. It's a rare moment that I just do that for fun. I wouldn't do that for fun.
Okay, so you did it
takes
because
special permission.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had special permission to be in that room
with
with them. That was cleared way ahead of time because this was government. Yeah, and that was a hired job.
No, because I did videotape shorts at the Marriott, and I just got in as press.
Yeah.
And then there was a platform where everybody had a video camera.
Oh, got it. You have a press badge.
Probably that's how I got in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know, that's probably how I got in, yeah. Because all the Gorbachev was there, and I still have the video on VHS. But to tell you that sometimes you don't need to be paid for a job to tape celebrities. You just need the press pass.
Sure. As a working mom raising a child in San Francisco, just about everything I've done over the past years has been for fee.
Oh, okay. So in that
I think I'll get a break soon and I'll be able to play more.
Okay. But in that case, who paid, the old secretary or the new secretary?
Oh, no. This was this was my client who was hosting the event.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the client who was hosting. It was a conference.
Okay.
Yeah, North Korea, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean he was here in San Francisco?
There was a bunch of people, panelists brought in to discuss a said topic. I forgot which topic it was. It could have been North Korea, if I'm correct.
Yeah, because when I taped him, he was already very old, so he must be almost 100 now. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, George
90 something.
He's an older gentleman.
Wow, it's amazing he's still alive because he's so tall, and usually tall people don't live that long. Like de Gaulle, our previous president. But anyway, to go back to you and to your profession, what are the advantages and the setback of being a photographer?
The advantages are it's been such a creative, fun life. I'm curious.
Oh.
I am unbelievably curious, and I don't think I could be held back to a conventional career.
Yeah.
My spirit would be squashed. So the positive of that is that it's allowed me to feed my curiosity, and it's allowed me to be playful in a structured manner and to co-create too and work with other people, but always with different teams.
Okay.
So it's always changing the dynamic of life, which is, again, part of my curiosity.
And what's good about photographers, they are their own directors as opposed to videographers who are directed by a director.
Sure. But there's sometimes I'm directed. And,
you
that's,
are directed?
But sometimes, that's fun too.
Oh, okay.
You know, like I said, it's never the same.
Oh.
So it's always a different medley and a different cocktail, and I really like that. The downfalls is that there's feast and famine moments. It's very uncertain, but, you know, I think photographers and people in creative careers are very resilient and we're crafty.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you picked a good career then. You're going to be happy.
Well, it suits me.
Huh? It does
suits me.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I mean, some people do it by they just find themselves doing it
Right.
because they're part of a team, and all of a sudden they become a photographer.
Yeah.
But in your case, you chose it.
I did. I chose it and I stuck with it. And now I'm at the point in my career where I'd like to give back. So, I started an educational program, and I love working with teen girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you teach them a little bit?
So I, over the past few years, have been hosting summer day camps here in the city, and I work with a small group of teen girls. And
what happened to the boys? They just watch?
No boys. I decided to keep it all girls so we could keep it focused. Teenagers are already a little distracted. So.
Oh, it's not the classroom.
No, my classroom is the city. I take them out, and we explore and do experientials all over the city.
No, but I mean, it's not a classroom of boys and girls.
No.
How do you pick out of the classroom just the girls?
Well, I've just marketed it to girls.
Okay.
I'm not going to exclude the boys in the future, but right now it's just been girls so far.
Okay. So you say camp for girls.
Yeah.
It goes in the schools.
No, it's not in the schools. They come to my house. Yeah, my home office. Studio.
No, the advertising go to a school to tell them that you're offering the program.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's a man offering boys photography.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay.
I don't know. No.
But anyway, boys find job much faster. So you're focusing on girls? Is that why?
I'm focusing on girls more. My idea behind this is we're in a media age where everything is photos are thrown at you quickly, and if you didn't, I don't know if you've been around teenagers lately, but that's all they do is they sit there take pictures, selfies, and I talk more about values. It's not just about taking pictures. It's like, why are you taking these pictures? What are you getting out of this?
Oh, okay.
Make them question their privilege as well. Like, understand that some more while they're young, and it's a pretty key time. And I just really like working with them and understanding them. I don't preach. I just listen, and I navigate them, and also I present them with a whole medley of different areas of photography to explore. And it's great because some kids may come in and discover a whole new avenue that they never thought they'd like. Because we explore and play, and I like that I can be free-spirited about this as well. If I find that the group isn't enjoying something, I'll just shift it in a second.
Oh, okay.
In 1 second, I'll say, okay, let's pack it up, and we're going here and doing this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because like you said, they mostly take selfies, and that's portrait photography, I would say. But then to take something else that's going outside their comfort zone,
right?
Comfort zone, probably.
Yeah, I like the idea of pushing them outside their boundaries, and also to understand the difference between subjectifying and objectifying, and knowing what it feels like to be in my spot right now. You're interviewing me. Normally, I would be photographing someone and asking things of them. So putting people in different positions to understand what it feels like.
Yeah, so before you take the photo, you ask the person, what do you want to be looking like in that picture?
Yeah, or just teach them to interact and engage. And maybe that isn't the place that they should be. Maybe they may not find themselves to be a portrait photographer. Maybe they'd find themselves more suited to doing still lifes, fine art. You never know.
Yeah, surfing on the
exactly,
ocean.
Sports. And I do take them out to the beach too, and we work out. We do experientials at the beach and dealing with water and element and sports.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
fun.
fun.
So this is what I'm working on right now. And this summer, hopefully, I'm launching my first overnight, week-long camp in Hawaii.
Oh, you're taking them on an airplane?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Ambitious, right?
It's a little bit ambitious. The parents have to write the check for the airplane?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, many kids travel abroad in the summertime.
So they may as well take a week to Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii too.
That's
nice. If they're really into photography, I wouldn't think.
Actually, it's a combined vacation for them, right?
Right. And it wouldn't be just photography. The camp in Hawaii will be adventure and photography. I mean, you can't teach photography all day to a bunch of teenagers.
Oh, so you do that in conjunction with another program
Well,
where...
I'm creating my own program. Like, we go snorkeling for part of the day, or paddle boarding, or surfing, or hiking.
Nice.
And there'll be some kind of experiential every day that has to do with photography, but not the whole day.
Ah, so are you searching for the perfect girl for your son?
Uh, he may be the only boy at the camp.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He may be my employee for the first round.
Yeah, he might be the helper.
Yeah, he may.
He may be
He's
the
really
helper.
good at it. He's been doing it since he was little.
Oh, good. That's good. I'm sure he'll find the Mrs. right there. I mean, or at least a girlfriend there. Okay, so yeah, you have a very beautiful boy. So he's probably gonna be a photographer, no? He likes it.
He's taking photography in school right now.
Oh,
Yeah, but yeah, he does. He likes. He's got a good eye. He's got a good eye for styling. He's
Okay.
very good at that. I always ask his advice. I'm like, oh, what do you think about this or that? When when I'm producing a shoot and I need, he's there to ask questions. So
that's awesome.
yeah, and he's come shopping with me a few times when I had to do some styling on my own.
Oh,
Yeah, but we'll see. I don't know if he'll be a photographer.
yeah.
No.
He has time to decide.
Yeah. He's young.
Yeah, and these girls that are going to be in the camp, they decided they want to do it?
I don't have the clients for this next round, but last year a parent did ask if I would take the kids abroad, and that's what kind of sparked it. One of the parents asked if I would take the girls to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, well, this is interesting. That sounds like a great idea. And that was early enough for me to produce it. But then the Paris bombings happened.
Oh,
And we weren't going to do that. And then a month later, they proposed Italy. And at that point, I had to say no. Because
Oh.
I like doing
is it
things...
too dangerous?
No, I like to do things correctly. And I just didn't have enough time to produce it. So
Oh.
I've been working on producing Hawaii for quite some time now. Going to get it down
You
to
wanna-
where it's not just something we do once a year. It's something I
But
do
what
every
my
year.
question was, is it the parents' choice to send their daughter there, or is it the daughter who expressed interest in photography?
The daughter. Yeah, initially the kids express interest.
Okay,
Yeah, they express interest in,
in that field.
right. Yeah, and I was asked by the parent, and then it spawned from there. So you never know how businesses started, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think back to when I first started taking children's portraits.
Yeah.
I had just finished school, and my son was a newborn, and
Oh,
I
so
joined
you
a
were-
mom's group,
Yeah, that's
right? So I joined a mom's group, and at the time, I was living in a small apartment, and all the other parents had homes, and they would host the
Babies.
different week.
Yeah.
And I couldn't host, so I said, in lieu of me not opening up my house, how about I do some portraits?
Oh.
So I would bring a little mini, this is back in the days of film still, bring a little mini studio with lighting and photograph the babies.
Oh.
So that spawned that aspect of my photography, the children and family portraits.
Oh.
And ironically right now, some of these families I've been working with, the children are aging out. They're
Oh.
in
17,
college.
like
they're
your
in
son.
Yeah, they're off in college.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to get them at Thanksgiving break, so I'm definitely open for new families with smaller children.
Oh, no, because, there's companies that specialize just in babies and kids.
Right, I've been doing this for the whole entire
You
entire career. Again, nothing I market. It's just something I've done.
That just happened?
Yeah, and word of mouth. And there's only so many families you can take on.
Oh, good.
But the great thing is I've been able to watch these families grow. I mean, I've literally watched children being raised. They're from birth to college.
Another market is the yearbook at schools.
I don't do that. No,
that's
no.
not. You
No,
don't
that's
go
another.
there.
That's another infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like not dissimilar to weddings,
it's
where
like-
it's a particular business model.
Yeah, it's one after the other kind of thing.
I would be open to doing that, sure, but it's, there's many companies out there that just do that.
Yes, they
That's
go
what they're-
school to school to school to school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But if it was a smaller school, I could easily accommodate that. you know.
Okay. Yeah, but it's a little bit industrial because
It is very
Next.
industrial.
next is one after the other kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then First grade, second grade,
Right, right.
get it all done in one day.
I
Okay.
was asked to do this many times in the
Ah,
past, and I declined for some
ah,
of the independent schools in town.
too much pictures, too
Well, it's just
many,
it's an infrastructure, and you have to do the school IDs, and you have to make sure the coding is correct for each
and then you
child.
sell
And
them a set,
yeah, I
the
mean,
the large, the small, the
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I like
totally
having my foot in several different doors from, retail. I like saying retail, which would mean, directly to a client, parents, families,
mm-hmm.
and then corporate, a little bit of advertising. So there's, every little shoe is full.
Oh, so talking about outfit to wear, like this outfit fits you real good. Do you tell your client if he's wearing something too strong, like a dark black, do you tell him wear something softer, or you don't interfere with what they want to wear?
Well, I give suggestions always.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I usually say no solid black, white, or busy patterns.
Oh,
It really depends on who the client is, right?
it
So
depends what kind of
it
portraits
depends
too.
exactly. Like, if I'm going to go into say a bank, well, obviously they're going to wear a suit, and
And they decide what
but I
kind.
also recommend that everyone doesn't have a blue shirt on. It's very common. Solid blue shirt, khaki pants for, some industries.
I know.
So I just suggest no solid black, white, busy patterns, or I don't like short sleeve shirts and portraits because it depends on where you crop. And I don't like
It's better long sleeve.
I don't like to see that because then it brings attention to the particular areas, and I don't like busy jewelry. Sometimes that's distracting, and watches are definitely a no-no.
But right now it's in fashion. I see all these girls wearing these huge necklaces.
Well,
It's in fashion.
and if that's what they want to wear, then they can.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for the men, it's the opposite. It's not as creative. So you go to some companies and they all wear a gray suit, not to mention the name of the company.
Yeah.
Or you walk into the hall of a certain company and they all kind of wear the same thing.
Sure. That, but then they borrow things from one another and recycle shirts or ties or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want everybody to look the same.
No. And sometimes, the culture of the company is very loose, and that's what they want to be, is loose. It's t-shirt and,
It's okay.
jeans, and that's okay too, if that's who they are. Be who you want to be. But I do give, just small suggestions.
Yeah, and they wear also the logo now very
Yeah.
often.
Yes. If you're going to go out of your way to hire someone, I might as well go out of my way and give the professional advice. And if you choose to use it,
That's fine.
it's your prerogative.
But do you advise wearing a logo?
Well, if they want to. No, I don't ever advise wearing a logo unless they say they specifically
because at
want
the
a
same time
logo.
they advertise the company, no?
Well, if they want to, they can. Yeah, there's many times I've gone into some of the big corporate campuses, some of the big tech campuses, and they'll have their branding.
They do wear the branding?
Yeah, they'll wear their branding. And
Okay.
sometimes, in the engineering departments, they have tons of those branded shirts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, to go back to, how, tell me the life of a photographer in a day. You spend maybe 2 hours doing that, 2 hours editing, 2 hours taking. How does a photographer schedule their day? It's very
not
different
it's
every
very
day?
different every day. It's not a linear thing at all. It really depends on how much you're working, and
Okay.
I think every photographer will say something different.
Okay.
For me, if I just shot a job, next morning I would wake up
Tired.
tired for sure.
Yeah.
With a mess because I probably didn't put all the equipment away.
Oh, okay.
So I would reset, put all the equipment away, check all my other business emails, make sure that everything's unmarked for whatever said jobs would be lined up, and then go straight into post, put my head into it, and I don't come out of it until I'm done with my post and uploaded my imagery as soon as I can.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my priority. Otherwise, I can't rest.
But you don't spend too much time editing.
Oh, well, that's not true.
That's not true?
No, that's a big part of the job. For me, it's 50% of it.
Oh, okay. So,
So
once
going-
you take a picture, it's not the final thing.
Never.
Oh.
Never. I never just send things untouched
As
or
is.
unedited ever.
Okay.
Even if I'm just putting a preview up, my shooting style is shooting raw, and I'll still adjust.
A little bit.
Yeah, adjust some things
The light.
in batch processing. Yeah, before I put a preview up for someone.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I'm sending just crude images out, I'll show an example of how it's supposed to look because I'm very particular. I don't like things being out there that I haven't touched.
Okay. So it has your
Yeah.
signature on
Well,
it.
there, it's part of the work is the post. It's half and half for me. It's not just taking the shot.
Okay.
The lighting and the shooting are 25-25, and I feel like the rest is post.
It's you.
It's me. Yeah.
So if I go to your website, these pictures have been retouched.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's see McMean. Some of the pictures here.
Mhm. Everything.
So these pictures, let's get to
Even
that.
if it's subtle, even if it's like go to the top, even if it's just someone's eyeballs.
Oh.
I'll whiten eyeballs or
Okay.
sharpen eyes or diffuse something. Everything, it's like painting to me.
Wow.
Or throwing a vignette on. Color correcting.
So this is not just a shot. You did something to it?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a reverse vignette there. You're talking about the wine bottle?
No, this one.
That one right there, that's just color corrected. There wasn't much that I did to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but the wine definitely was corrected.
I would call it enhanced rather than corrected.
Okay, enhanced.
Yeah, because all of the images could stand on their own without retouching, but that's my working style is to play with it, accentuate things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also, get rid of dust and scratches, like the shot next to it of the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a perfect
yeah.
interior. There's dust. I'm not going to let a speck of dust go by without touching it.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I magnify these things greatly.
Which software do you use?
I use Photoshop, Lightroom,
Oh, you do use
On
Photoshop?
One,
So,
DxO. I have a laundry list. Sometimes some images will go through 3 or 4 different programs.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
So is it true that with Photoshop you can make someone fat look thin? That's not true?
It is true.
It is true.
Yeah, and in my camp I show the girls this, how unrealistic things are.
Oh, so they know that what they see in magazine is not the truth.
It's not the truth, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that you can do so much with your computer.
You can do just about infinitely anything.
You can enhance the color of the eyes too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've seen some pictures on Facebook and I knew the person, and then I see on Facebook the green eyes. I see
Or
this
greener.
Greener, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
And I say must have been photoshopped. Okay, so it's okay to show yourself and super enhanced. I mean, it's not the real you. If you do a portrait and somebody enhance.
Well, all I do is small stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, on portraits. Yeah. Just brighten eyes, meaning make the whites of the eyes a little brighter.
Oh, okay.
Soften skin complexion, but I don't like taking away the character of a person.
Oh.
That's just to me not right. And if someone's going to hire me, they're going to look at the work that I do and hire me based on that. And if we're a match, we're a match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same actually with videos. You can enhance the background lighting.
Sure.
And, but it takes time. I mean, you got to find the time, I guess.
Right. Well, it's built into your what your cost of doing business is, right?
Okay.
Right. So if it's not built in, then you're not going to find the time to do that. But if your fee is reflective of that.
Okay, if they ask you to edit, you do. If they ask you raw, you do raw.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a big fan of giving raws away. Of just submitting raws.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. I'm a little bit in conflict with that because that's the.
So you do ask for a little bit of time for the retouch.
Yeah. Well, it's just a given.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a given that it's gonna take a little bit of time, but it's not too much time. My turnover is pretty quick.
Oh, good. Okay. It's not a huge cost to the customer.
No, no,
No.
it's all. I'm pretty. The way I format things, it's all encompassed.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So yeah, this is sounds like a very good profession, and now that we all digital, you can keep it all on the hard drive, I guess.
5. What do I have? 4 or 5 terabytes.
Oh my God!
I know,
Oh,
but
so
that's nothing for a videographer.
oh yeah, I have maybe
Yeah,
20,000. Okay,
exactly. But for a photographer,
it's a lot.
it's a lot.
Okay, so anyway, so Lisa, if people want to see, it's lisaz.com.
Yeah, my website is lisaz.com, SZE.com.
Okay. Do they need to send you text or call you?
My contact information is there. I do answer the telephone.
Oh, you do?
I'm phone friendly.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So you could call me, email me, text me.
Okay.
I'll respond to all.
So after speaking to you for how long? Like 45 minutes? You told me that you did children, adults, a little bit of news, a little bit of interior. So there's a big array of things. And
Yeah.
plus you teach. Now
Yeah.
you want to be a mentor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then those girls, they can take more classes with you later on in life.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm open to hand tailoring. Also, any kind of workshop, photography workshop. If anyone wants to reach out and create something of interest.
No, because I did take
Yeah.
photography like over 30 years ago. So if I want to retouch on it, I can talk to you.
Oh yeah, I don't do that often, but once in a while I do.
Okay,
Yeah,
just to see where I'm missing something. All right, so thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. We did our 46 minutes now, so you pretty much did explain what this profession is about. For you, it took a study, which is about 3 or 4 years or something
4
like
years
that.
of school plus
3 years of school.
plus assisting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and then practice makes perfect.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right, has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.